you?
It's Your Majesty the first time. After that, it's ma'am, as in ham.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best portrayals of historic royalty that were in a movie for a good time, but not a long time.
Awesome. Wow. Do you have a clue what happens now?
Number 10, Janette Charles as Elizabeth II, the Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and give a hearty Los Angeles welcome to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Playing the living queen of your actual country could be daunting for some, and while British actress Janette Charles made her living at it, she took care to be respectful. Her best appearance as Queen Elizabeth II may be in the zany first instalment in the Naked Gun trilogy of films. Leslie Nielsen's Lieutenant Frank Drebin is assigned to prevent the Queen's assassination during a baseball game. Charles barely speaks a word, but watching her in character as the Queen, trying to maintain her regalness as she participates in American pastimes like hot dogs and the wave is comedy gold.
How about that Queen, ladies and gentlemen? Let's have a nice round of applause.
Well, we're ready for the start of today's ball game.
Number 9, Elsa Lanchester as Anne of Cleves, the private life of Henry VIII.
What am I going to do with you?
Chop my head?
Probably.
You dance.
Why not?
Because in Europe I will make such a scandal as you never heard.
The short marriage between the notorious King Henry VIII and Anne of Cleves, a German noble, occupies a brief but memorable section of this historical comedy from the early 30s. Though it's a myth that Henry made the characteristically tactful declaration that she looked like a horse, the marriage still didn't last long. Playing opposite her real-life husband, Charles Norton, Elsa Lanchester got to play an Anne who was determined to wriggle out of her marriage to the famously vengeful king.
What can be done? Nothing.
How like a man, to be dead before he is killed. There is always a way out.
She plays herself off as ugly, clumsy, and so shrill that he will have no choice but to divorce her. It's so satisfying to watch Anne beat Henry at his own game.
Is the bargain?
Yeah.
Confess that you cheated. You go back to Germany.
Back to Germany? I cheated.
Number 8, Patrick Stewart as Richard I, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
I now pronounce you man and...
I object.
Who asked?
After the standard buffoonery and ludicrous musical numbers of Mel Brooks' Robin Hood parody, who better than Sir Patrick Stewart to play the king known as the Lionheart? Playing King Richard I, the absent king, who's off fighting the Crusades while his corrupt brother, John, runs his kingdom into the ground, Stewart is both believable and hilarious. Even Brooks's most juvenile puns sound kingly coming out of his mouth.
You have surrounded your given name with a foul stench. From this day forth, all the toilets in this kingdom shall be known as John's.
In just a few minutes of screen time, Stewart provides the climax with gravitas, wit, and deadpan humour. It's obvious he's having a great time doing it too.
It's good to be the king.
Oh, you may marry them.
Number 7, Edward Norton as Baldwin IV, Kingdom of Heaven.
When I was 16, I won a great victory. I felt in that moment I would live to be 100. Now I know I shall not see 30.
Director Ridley Scott's fictionalising of the Crusades is a forgotten epic, but actor Edward Norton's supporting performance as the masked leper King Baldwin IV was praised by many. The King of Jerusalem is doomed by his affliction, and Norton plays him as a man who has accepted that life, war, and politics are part of a greater plan.
Remember that howsoever you are plagued, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone.
He speaks with gentle authority, and even acting through an unmoving mask, Norton commands in the role. Serving as mentor figure to the Crusader Balian, his scenes are short but provide a moral centre to the action that follows.
All are welcome in Jerusalem, not only because it's expedient, but because it is right. Protect the helpless, and then maybe one day, when I am helpless, you will come and protect me.
Number 6, Kathy Burke as Mary I, Elizabeth.
It is your death warrant. All I need do is sign it. Mary, if you sign that paper, You will be murdering your own sister.
The Queen Mary of history is known for her heavy reliance on execution. She earned the nickname Bloody Mary after all. As played by comedian Kathy Burke in the 1998 movie about Mary's younger sister, the eventual Queen Elizabeth, she is a paranoid and vengeful presence.
Why will you not confess your crimes against me? Because, Your Majesty, I have committed none. You speak with such sincerity. I see you are still a consummate actress.
She taunts her Protestant sister with a death warrant and volleys back and forth between genuine care and resolve that England will remain a Catholic nation after her death. Though she dies, as her real-life counterpart does, so that her sister does become queen, her presence in Elizabeth's life is proof that a queen can trust no one, not even family.
I promise to act as my conscience dictates. Do not think to be queen at all.
Number 5, Jonathan Groff as George III, Hamilton.
You'll be back, time will tell. You remember that I served you well.
The performer playing King George III has arguably the best gig. You get 3 hilarious songs, and then you get to chill backstage until bows. Played by Jonathan Groff in the original Broadway cast and in the 2020 filmed version of the stage show, King George is a cruel ruler who loves to be bad.
And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
Giddy with excitement at the thought of his former colonists tearing each other apart, it makes the real man's legacy of colonial rule seem appropriately petty. He acts more like a 13-year-old who likes to hold magnifying glasses to ants than a true monarch.
When your people say they hate you, don't come crawling back to me.
Number 4, John Gielgud as Louis VII, Becket.
Your Majesty, the English ambassadors extraordinary insist that I convey their compliments.
They've already done that. I'll see them when I'm ready.
In just over 8 minutes of screen time, British acting legend John Gielgud won acclaim and even an Oscar nomination for his role as the French King Louis VII. After royally shafting his friend, the King of England, upstart Bishop Thomas Becket seeks the help of the French. Enter the ornately dressed, smug and deliciously petty King Louis.
My dear man, crowned heads are free to play the little game of courtesy, but nations owe one another none.
Disarmingly polite and straightforward, the French king is a dapper strategist. He seems friendly enough, but his cheerful demeanour makes his massive influence and love of shady social power plays just that more threatening. He almost dares everyone in the room to question his behaviour, knowing full well they can't.
Gentlemen, we have listened most attentively to your sovereign's gracious request, and we shall shortly be drafting a formal reply to it.
Number 3, Helena Bonham Carter as the Queen Mother, the King's Speech.
Forgive me, Your
Royal Highness.
Royal Highness.
His Johnson was used during the Great War, when the Navy didn't want the enemy to know he was aboard.
Am I considered the enemy?
You will be, if you remain unobliging.
Much of the drama in this Oscar-winning period piece is between the King and his speech therapist, but their entire relationship is put into motion by the Queen. As the nonplussed but loving Queen consort to the unexpected King George VI, Helena Bonham Carter left a huge impression.
I'm told your husband calls my husband Bertie, and my husband calls your husband Lionel. I trust you won't call me Liz.
Her Queen Elizabeth is proper when need be, but her effortless humour pokes fun at the pretension of royal conventions. The way she never seems angry at the king, just a little annoyed, is so funny and so adorable. She knows how serious her husband's speech issues are, but she never lets herself be too serious.
And up comes Her Royal Highness, and slowly exhale, and down comes Her Royal Highness.
All right, Bertie. It's actually quite good fun.
Number 2, Robert Shaw as Henry VIII, a man for all seasons.
I'll leave you out of it. But you are my Chancellor. I don't take it kindly, and I'll have no opposition.
This Best Picture Oscar winner follows the Lord Chancellor, who paid dearly for his principles when the infamous King Henry VIII asked him to renounce his faith. Known for playing roughnecks and sociopaths, Robert Shaw was not the standard Henry VIII. That's what made him all the more terrifying to watch.
See? You see how you've maddened me? I hardly know myself.
Volleying between admiring the natural beauty of his kingdom and berating any subject who did not do his bidding, Henry is a volatile force. Despite the king's overarching influence over the story, the film's focus is on More's faith and politics. It's hard to ignore Shaw's presence though. It looms large.
Oh, alas, as I think of it, I see so clearly that I cannot come with your grace that my endeavour is not to think of it at all. Then you haven't thought enough!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Judy Dench as Elizabeth I. Shakespeare in Love.
What do you love so much? Your Majesty. Speak up, girl. I know who I am.
Though it's not the shortest Oscar-winning performance on record, Dame Judy Dench stole the show in just over 5 minutes as Queen Elizabeth I. The Queen acts as a sort of sage character, appearing in only a few scenes. Her more impressive one comes at the end.
Mr. Tilney! Have a care with my name, you will wear it out.
Suspecting rightly that the theatre artists behind Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet have broken the rule forbidding women on stage, the authorities are about to arrest those responsible, until the Queen intervenes, saving everyone's reputation, the show, and Shakespeare's career. With tongue-in-cheek humour and an air of sarcasm you might not expect from a queen, she is one of the crown jewels of the movie.
Nature and truth are the very enemies of play acting, I'll wager my fortune.
I thought you were here because you had none.
Which of these royal performances left the biggest impact on you? Let us know in the comments.
It is a custom and my royal right. Hold this, Father.
Rabbi.
Whatever.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.